Okay, we are now solving the problem of set 1. The first question is dominant interest often benefit most from dash of government interface in business since they are able to take care of themselves if left undone, if left alone. Okay, we have the connector since here, so this idea and this idea should be equal or have should have the same meaning. So dominant interests are able to take care of themselves if left alone. So dominant interests should be left alone. And in the first part, we are seeing that dominant interests often benefit most from dash of government interface. So it should be free of government interface in order to have the same meaning of the later part with the later part. So we can use most often benefit most from the dash of government interface. So we can use elimination of government interference, removal of government interference. Now look at the option. Intensification, no. It makes the situation worse. Worse. Authorization, no. Centralization, not really. Improvisation, definitely not. So the correct answer should be E. Elimination. Government interference should be eliminated in the business. Okay. The next question is okay. The next question is Kagan maintains that an infant's reaction to its first stressful experiences are part of natural process of development, not harbinger of childhood unhappiness or test signs of adolescence anxiety. Now look at the word harbinger. This somewhat means the future activities of the childhood or indicates the future activities. So not harbingers of childhood appearance or dash signs. So here we are using the connector word, connector or, and here also there is a connector comma. So uh, this idea and this idea should be same. So here Kalam maintains that infant's reaction to his first stresses are part of natural process. So here there is adolescence anxiety. So it shouldn't be something related to the future. It should be only a natural process. So the correct answer will be, so the blank will contain some word which indicates the future of something. So it can be future signs of adolescence anxiety. We can explain the situation more as adolescence is the future state, but infant is the earlier state of the future or adolescent state. So future sign can be a good option to choose. Now look at the answer choices. Prophetic means future, so it can be the answer choice. Normal, obviously not, because here it has said that if we use normal, it doesn't fit the context. Monotonous, definitely not. Virtual, typical and normal mean the same thing, so they can't be picked up. So the correct answer is prophetic or future signs of adolescence anxiety. Question number 3. An investigation that is dashed can occasionally add new facts, even notable ones, but typically the appearance of such facts. Now here we have the connector but. So this idea and this idea should be opposite. Now look at the later idea. Typically the appearance of such facts is the result of search in a definite direction. So the first part should indicate something which is in an indefinite direction or unguided condition. Now look at that. We can use the word the investigation that is in an indefinite direction. We can use this term. Now look at the words which matches which match mostly with the chosen word. Timely can't be the answer. Unguided, it can be a good answer choice. Consistent, definitely not. Uncomplicated, we don't know anything about uncomplicated here, so it can be the answer choice. Subjective, definitely not. So the correct answer is 3B or unguided or in an indefinite direction. Okay. Question number 4. It is dash that so many portraits paintings hang in art museum. Okay. They are telling that it is dash that so many portrait paintings hang in the art museum. Naturally, art museum shouldn't contain portrait paintings, but we shouldn't assume anything. Let's focus on the later part. Since the subject matter seems to dictate a status closer to pictures in the family photograph albums than to higher art, so we were telling this about this topic. But perhaps it is the artistic skill with which the portraits are painted also. Now let's focus on the first gap. Uh, Here we have the connector since. So this idea should be equal to this idea. The later idea is telling us that the subject matter seems to dictate a status closer to pictures in the family pictures. So, as the subject idea is closer to the family pictures than to the higher art, so it is surprising. It is surprising, astonishing, or shocking that there are so many portrait paintings. So we can use the word shocking here. And now look at the choices with fish mostly with surprising. Oh yes, we have directly the word surprising. Now look at the later portion, but perhaps it is the artistic skill with which the portraits are painted that has their presence in art museum. So they have the artistic skill, and this artistic skill, what will this artistic skill cost them? Presence. So we can use the word justifies. We can use yes, we can use the word justifies. Now challenges, no, their presence aren't challenges, or rather it is supported. So we can't use the word challenge. Justifies, yes. We can use the word justifies here, and change, no. Nothing is changed here, so the correct answer should be justifies. Question number 5. In stark contrast to his later dash, Simpson was largely dash politics during his college years, despite the fact. So this idea and this idea should be opposite. Now focusing on the later idea, despite the fact that the campus he attended was rife with political activities. So the campus was full with political activities, but he wasn't interested in politics. So Simpson was largely uninterested, disinterested. We can use this kind of words here. Now look at the option choices. Devoted to, definitely not. This is the opposite. Indifferent to, which means neutral. It can't be the option. Shaped by, no. He wasn't interested. So the correct answer should be E. Focusing on the first part, in stark contrast to his later death. So Simpson was largely indifferent to politics in his college years, but later he wasn't indifferent. So he was active in politics. So we can use the word in stark contrast to his later activism activities or something. Yes, we have the word activism. Apathy, no. He wasn't apathetic to politics, so it can't be the answer. Affability, affability doesn't fit the context, so it can't be the choices. So the correct answer should be activism. Okay, moving on to question number 6. As it is a sentence equivalence question, we should pair up the options first and then look at the question. Now, pairing up the option choices, deteriorate and decline, they can be one pair. Sharpen and improve, they kind of one pair. Recover, adjust can't be paired up with anything, so we have two pair: deteriorate, decline, and sharpen, improve. Now look at the questions. As my eyesight began to dash, it can be sharpen or deteriorate. Focusing on the later part, I spent lot of time writing about it, both poems and eye journals, describing what I saw as I looked out through damaged. So definitely the option choice should be deteriorate and decline. Moving on to question number 7. Okay, now pair up the word unqualified and principal. So unqualified can be paired up with anything undiminished, undamaged. They can be a pair, undecided, unresolved. They can be another pair, and the rest of the two words can't be paired up with any of the words. Now look at the question. The judge standing in the legal community, though, so it is a negative connector, though shaken by phony allegations of wrongdoing, emerged at long last that. So this idea and this idea should be opposite. In the first idea, it is said that his standing was shaken. So in the blank, we should use the word unshaken or something of the two pairs, undiminished and undamaged, makes sense, and the other undecided or unresolved doesn't make sense because he had yeah, he had nothing to be resolved or something. So the correct answer should be B and D. This is a tricky question, question number 8. Why? Now look at the answer choices. Incongruous, we can't pair up it with any words of the list. Reasonable and reasonable, considerable, equitable. The three are the three conveys the same meaning. Here lies the problem. How should we pair it up now? We can pair significant with considerable, but we can't pair up significant with equitable. Significant means significantly big or something, but equitable and reasonable kind of pair can't be paired up based on their meaning. But reasonable can also pair up with considerable, but as we have to make only pairs of two words, so reasonable best suited with the word equitable, and significant is best suited with the word considerable. Now look at the question. Modern agricultural practices have been extremely successful in increasing the productivity of major food crops, yet it is a negative connector. So this idea and this idea should be opposite. So this idea should mean that the it is successful in productivity of major food crops. So now looking at this, despite heavy use of pesticides, hash losses to diseases and insect pests are sustained every year. So it can be either reasonable or equitable or significant and considerable. If we put reasonable and equitable, it means that the losses are reasonable, but are the losses reasonable? No, they aren't reasonable because here it is said that it is extremely successful in increasing productivity, use of pesticides. So, if the losses are reasonable, it doesn't make sense. So, the option choice reasonable and equitable can't be the answer option choices. So, the correct answer should be significant and considerable.